Hi, and we are live with Heike Martin Photography here for the first time, actually doing a live on YouTube. And the topic today is Pinterest, and not just Pinterest for your own business, but we're talking how to utilize Pinterest as you're planning for your own branding photography photo shoot. I would love if you are visiting, if you are joining me here live, let me know that you are here. Type into the chat box so I can see who you are. And absolutely, I would love to know what questions you have. I mean, I have several topics I would like to address because I like to keep my lives to 20 minutes and no longer. Otherwise, it gets too much. And so if we can answer as many questions as possible, that would be pretty awesome. Let me know who you are and what questions you have in terms as you're planning a branding photography shoot. Why would you use Pinterest? Like, you're probably overwhelmed in the first place anyways on, my God, what images do I even need? So when I sit down with my clients, it's all about figuring out like what their brand story is. How would they like to be seen in their images? What stories, what information do your clients need to see in order to understand who you are in your business? And so one of my favorite tools to use is Pinterest, because Pinterest is a search engine. First and foremost, it's a search engine that allows us to type in, to search for, let's say you're a realtor, typing in like realtor. What kind of images are coming up? Do you find yourself in those images? Is there anything in particular that you like about a particular image and say, man, I wish I had something like this on my website, or I wish I had images like this when I'm posting on social media? So that's where, for me, Pinterest comes in. I create a board that is specific for a particular brand shoot that I do, and I often like share them with my clients, or sometimes they start a board. They've been maybe already building a board, and then they share it with me, and that way we get a much better understanding of what images will help tell your story. What aesthetics are you looking for? What locations are you maybe envisioning that would really help add to your story? What color scheme are you working with? Do they fit in with your brand colors? Do they fit in with your personality? So when you are taking time to actually search for specific things, and it takes multiple tries and multiple times of searching on either directly in Pinterest or just do a regular Google search. I usually start out with a Google search. I might, let's go back to our example of a realtor, working with a realtor here, is I type in portraits of realtors. So that gives me already like a first set of like, how do I want to pose? Like, what is a strong image? What is an inviting image? What are they actually wearing in those images? Is this something like a style that fits me, or is this something I would never wear? So make comments. So as you're pinning, as you have create your own board, and you start pinning some of those images, saving them to your board. I mean, that's what pinning is all about. It's saving the images. Make comments. You can always write just a little description to, why did I choose this image? What is it about this image that I want my photographer to understand, or that I actually like myself? Is it the clothing they're wearing? Is it the colors? Is it the pose? Is it the environment they're in? So it's all of those little tidbits. It doesn't have to be that you love the entire image, but there might be something in specifically that draws you to that image, and where you're saying, I would love to see if I can incorporate that into some of my own images. So then there's another. So that might be one of the reasons. So starting out just realtor portraits. Then you might type in realtor marketing message, and you will obviously get a whole new set of images. And again, you go through and you pick out, oh my God, I love the pose. This is something I could be doing. This is where I could have like text going on the wall or on a board or on a house wall, especially as a realtor, maybe like using different wall textures and things that actually help you again tell your story as a realtor, because you're obviously working with buildings. So what is it about the images that again help you then tell your own story with your own images? And again, for your photographer to be able to have some visuals that we know already is something that you love is incredibly helpful. Again, I would love to know if you have anything down here. Like, I'm not seeing any chats coming in, but let me know any questions you have. I would love to answer them. And again, we're talking about using Pinterest as you're creating your own brand story, creating a vision board that helps you tell your own story as a business owner and as someone, an entrepreneur. So we're talking location. Are you sort of keen on certain locations? Is this something, again, like, are you finding images that you say like, oh my God, I wish I could get this kind of feeling across, the feel of like a really huge open rancher, or being at the beach, or sitting at a specific restaurant or cafe. For example, like with some of my last clients, and again, I'm sort of sticking with the realtor image here because I've done several work with several realtors, and every single one of them was different. But one of the key pieces, key images that they wanted to have at the end was like when they're closing a deal and they're celebrating with their clients, they like to go to certain restaurants. And so we wanted to have that kind of feel in one of the images where they can showcase how much they love to celebrate their own success, but also the success of their own clients. And with having the right environment, you're probably not ending up at a diner, a cheap diner. No, you're probably going to a restaurant that is a little bit more upscale, because the type of service that you provide is also a bit more upscale. So your image, your vision needs to fall in line with that. And if that is the image you want to bring across, then I would imagine, as you're going again on Pinterest and you're looking for different locations that say upscale, luxury. So just putting some of the search terms into Google or Pinterest searches will bring up the imagery that will help you then also realize, this is maybe what I need to have in my photo session to upscale the images that I'm creating in order for my clients to understand the kind of top-notch service that I'm actually offering. Now, let's go to a completely different type of client. Let's say you're a massage therapist, or you're a cook, a baker, a restaurant. Again, what is the environment? What are you trying to allow your clients to see aesthetically as they're coming to all the different images? Like, what thread are they seeing? So as you're creating your vision board, are we seeing a pattern of images coming across that help us aesthetically sort of get an idea of what images you really, really want your clients to feel and also just interact with you visually at this point? So when they're coming in, that they also experience the same sort of aesthetic coming to your own business. I think, to me, it's always very important that by being trustworthy and transparent as we're doing business, that we're not pretending to be someone else, or again, like having a certain kind of office or massage space that when they're actually coming to your massage therapy office looks completely different. So how can we bring still sort of the aesthetic that you want to portray even into using like your own premises to then create those images, but by having like elements from other images that you say, oh my God, I love this. This is really zen. This is just the feel that I want my clients to feel. It gives us ideas, and it helps you actually prepare in having maybe adding a little bit of different styling to the rooms, the offices, your restaurant, your work of business, your location, that will embody the aesthetic that you're looking for. I think it sometimes helps us to actually upscale our business, not even thinking of images, but it helps us to upscale our own business in preparation before we actually have images done. It helps you to think through where you want to be. So again, for anyone who's just chiming in, we are today Life with Heike here, talking about branding tips and in preparation like for upscaling your business, how to use Pinterest as you're thinking and dreaming and getting ready for a photo shoot to have brand images done that you can utilize on your website, on your social media, in your print collateral, because you want to really think through the whole gamut of where images can be used to really tell your brand story. So we are working our way through Pinterest. And if you have any questions, please let me know in the chat box here. Otherwise, I will just keep talking because it's amazing how much there is out there. I mean, obviously, as a photographer, I love images. I love the subtlety of images. I love the subtlety, the subtle messages that we can have in images to really be on brand for just our business. And as I'm going through Pinterest, as I'm creating my board, as you're creating your board, you will start noticing certain trends, like certain color schemes you're looking for, certain aesthetics that you're looking for. And it will help you realize who you are in your business and what you would like to see happening. And it will definitely help your photographer see as well what you're looking for. Will we completely recreate those images? No. That is one thing that will not happen. It is usually a jumping off board to give us ideas on what can be done. And I'm looking for, again, like, it doesn't matter what business you're in. We can all benefit from learning from what others have done. And so for me, going and searching and collecting different images just allows me to maybe dream a little bit differently, to see things in a different way than I have right in front of me. I'm looking at my office here. Am I looking at other offices? Is there anything I could be doing differently to create an image that is maybe even more on brand? And that is seriously what you're trying to do. It's figuring out with having like a vision board that you're pulling together, helping you tell your story in a much, much clearer and is more aesthetically on brand way. So what else are we looking for? We talked about color schemes. We talked about locations. And locations can sometimes mean, do you need to travel somewhere? So really dream big. Don't just think about, oh my God, I live in this small town and this is all I have, or I can only use my office here. You can always rent spaces to, at least for some of the activities, to make it a little bit easier to photograph. But if part of your story, for example, talks about traveling, or part of your story talks about that your love for cooking, because branding photography is not just about just what you do in your business, but it's also like adding in a little bit more like some of your personal activities, some of your personal pillars that you're bringing conversation, especially in your social media posts, then by all means add those in so we can add those little pillars and those little components of your story into the whole mix as well. So don't forget about that dream. But most of all, dream with your business in mind and where you want your business to go. Don't be stuck at the here and now. Branding photography is all about propelling you into the future and creating a vision and a goal, with a vision and goal in mind. And again, like how you want your clients to experience what you offer, not what someone else offers, but those images will help you hopefully get there just by having, again, it's research. I consider having a Pinterest board is research, and research is always helpful in guiding us. So what else are we looking for? I think the other piece that I find important to have as a photographer for my clients is maybe certain kinds of posing. And that also means like things you don't like. So be honest with your photographer and let them know, this is a pose, don't ever do that. But this is something I absolutely love. I would love to look like this. I love that interaction, sort of the energy that's coming off this image. That is what I would love to be able for you to pull out of me as well. Are we using chairs, tables? Are we using styling props? Again, for massage therapist, are you actually maybe having a client come in to be on your table and do certain kinds of massage techniques to show off what you actually do? So which ones will look good in camera? So having certain things where you say, you know what, I'm able to showcase certain techniques here. This will showcase this. This is an image maybe that's not quite as clear. So to help me as the photographer to understand what good technique is, I need to see some of those images. Are you an athlete? I need to understand what good technique looks like for you. Are you a travel agent? Like, what are some fun pieces in your story that help me, again, as your photographer, to understand what images will help tell your clients what you actually do? And for me to understand what kind of images I need to take. So what pieces will actually tell your story in a professional and a way that actually shows you understand what you're doing. And it's not me, it's that you understand what you're doing, that your clients can see what you're doing. And that's the weird piece, because as a photographer, I'm coming in, I need to understand you, and I also need to understand what your clients see. So this is the Pinterest board helps us to bridge that gap. Meetings and planning sessions do a good portion of that, but being able to talk about some of the images and the messaging and all of that that happens within those images helps me as photographer to sort of to help us build this bridge between me and you and then your clients again, and how you are portrayed in all of this. So we have a couple minutes left. I like to keep these lives to no more than 20 minutes because I think that is long enough. And I admire you for being here and listening and taking the time out of your day. So I want to make sure I'm covering everything. So again, if you have anything you would like to check in with me, I would really appreciate that, putting that into the chat box. You can always ask me questions afterwards. And so I'm going to just quickly break into this here and say, if you have any questions that ever would like to chat, I'm always an email or phone call away. You can find my website at Heike Martin Photography, and I will definitely have the link again in the description below. But yeah, so if you ever want to find out like what else would look good for you, what images would work for you, what could branding actually look like for you, start your own Pinterest board. Utilize the search engines and really pull together a vision board where you would like your business to go. So let me just check if I've missed anything. To me, it's important, like when you add descriptions then to your pins, is to write in, is it the mood that you're looking for? Is it the colors that really attract you here? Is there something about the styling that you say, okay, I would love to see this in my own images? Is it the locations? Is it the props that were being used? Is it the overall aesthetic? And again, remember that it doesn't have to be the entire image that you're looking for, but individual components out of those images that speak to something that you would like to say in your own images. So with all of this said, try not to overwhelm it. I think that to me, one big important piece when you are creating a vision board is do not go overboard. Keep your pins to maybe 25 to 35 pins. That is more than enough to give your photographer a good idea. And I think it also helps you to then take out maybe what's not quite as important and keep just the pieces, just the images in there that really tell your story, that really help you understand who you would like to be in all of this. All right, I'm going to sign off. Thank you so much for watching. And again, I would love to connect with you. Hit me up with information and learning more about branding photography and how that can elevate your brand, magnetize your business with the right audience. And by having your vision created, it will be so much easier to to create the images that you actually need then. All right, wonderful, and have a wonderful rest of the day.